Hello guys, welcome to another episode of DevSeeds. So here we will be talking about how do we effectively use JavaScript controllers in Lightning components. So some people came to me and said, okay, they don't want to use JavaScript because it's very nasty. We don't have any debugger. We don't have any the tools to effectively debug how it looks like, and they don't really like JavaScript. Basically those guys, I was like that. I started my development career with Visual Force page and the standard controller and custom controllers there. Everything, the validation and almost all the stuffs were done through the Apex. So if you imagine the number of server calls, you know that was like very huge. So without keeping you waiting, let's go ahead and start using JavaScript controllers. Okay, so you can see that I have created a component called using JavaScript.cmp, and CMP is the component. I just clicked on the controller tab and on helper tab. Okay, so when you click on it, you will be getting like this. Now, in the component, I have created one attribute, and the attribute is named as greet message, and the greet message is having a default value called good morning. Okay, and I have added another lightning card. So the attribute and lightning card is nothing new to you, you have already seen it. Now I have added another button, so that's a lightning button. Just google for it what a lightning button is. Okay, so we have different variants. um, I think that's a best thing to say, right? So I will have a brand variant. So I'll be showing you three different variants are there, but that's not the scope of this one, but still I'll just show it to you. So I'll just rename it to neutral, and one I'll be calling it as destructive, and let me save it. Okay, so this is just for the showing purpose, like brand will give you a nice little blue one, and neutral will give you a neutral button with a blue greet me inside it, and destructive will be like all red thing. Okay, now that keeping that thing aside, we are here to use the JavaScript controllers. So let's start using it. Okay, so right now we have a greet message. Okay, okay, there I have made a mistake, and inside a paragraph I am just printing what is there in the greet message. So when I load this component, can you imagine what will be there in the greet message? So if you got it right, it will be showing the default value, that's good morning. So let me go ahead to the page and refresh it. Okay, so here it is. Okay, so I have added the first button, and this is the neutral button, and this is the red button. So here it is. Oh my god, it looks so ugly. Anyway, I'm not a good UX designer or anyone like that, but still, you know how it is. So let me just remove all these two things, and this is what I wanted. Okay, P will be closed. Okay, so let me just refresh again. Ta-da! Okay, this is it, and good morning is appearing in a very large position. I have not forgot to add the BR, the line breaks this time, so it's already there. So that's appearing very nicely over here. Now, when I click on greet me, I want to change the good morning to something else. Okay, through JavaScript. So there is no other way I can do it. The message that is shown on the page is good morning, and the good morning is the value of this particular attribute called the greet message. So we want to basically change the greet message to something else. I would love to say when I click on the button, it would say very good morning. Okay, so what it does is that I have a button. So when I click on that button, here it is mentioned that on click I should go find in the controller. That means here in the controller I need to find a function called greet me. Okay, so right now if I go to the button and click on it, nothing will happen. Okay, it will say an uncaught unknown controller action called greet me, right? So Errors are good because we will learn from errors only. So here what it does is that it will just search for a function called greet me inside the controller. So C means controller. It does not mean controller, but you can imagine it as a controller. C means the value provider for the controller. V is the value provider for the view. Okay. uh, I don't know what it really means, but for me C means controller. Okay. So when I clicked on it, you have seen that error. That means the greet me function was not there. So let me go ahead and add it inside here. Okay, I'll just rename, or let me create another function called greet me. Okay, so greet me is a JavaScript function, and I will be saying, okay, alert and say good morning. So this is to make sure that everything works fine. Okay, so let me refresh and click on it. I'll get a new nice little pop-up says good morning. Okay, so awesome, right? So we don't want this. What we need is we need to change the good morning to very good morning, right? So how do I change this? So we basically need to get this attribute called greet message inside the controller, and then we have to update the value and then change it to something else. So how do we get the attributes or that is present inside a component? So if you have seen the previous one, this is given to us by Salesforce. Just copy it. You don't have to look at it as of now. But here is an important thing. We are passing the component completely inside to this greet me function. Okay. So now inside this component, somewhere we have an attribute called greet me, right? So let me write it like component. From the component, get me an attribute called, what's that? Greet message. Okay, so this will give you, if there is an attribute called greet message, its value. Okay, so value, where will we store it? Will be storing it is in a particular variable. So in JavaScript, this is how you write your variable. So finally we will be having an attribute, I mean our attributes value within this greet message. So what is that value? It's good morning. So first step was that we get the attribute. Second thing is that we changed it. Now in the third one we'll be going to update, or I should say set it. So get, change what all things you want and get it. Sorry, set it back to the component. Okay, so how do we change it? We said that greet message should be very good morning. So I'll be writing greet message will be very, then our greet message, because good morning is already there, right? So the last step will be to set it back to the component. So component.get will be getting the value, and in component.set we'll be setting it. Okay, setting it to the new value. So this is how we'll be setting it. Okay, it will be saying component.set to what we have to set and what's the value that we have to assign it. Okay, so that's it. Let me just save it, go to the page and refresh. So if everything goes well, when I click on the button, it should change to very good morning. Yay. Huh. Okay. So what it does is that when I click on this button again, when I click on this button, it is going and finding a function called greet me inside C, inside controller. So do we have a function called greet me? It is saying, checking here now. Here, yes, we have a function called greet me. So in greet me, what are we doing is that we are getting the value of that particular attribute using component.get, and we are changing to something else and we are setting it back. Okay, so that's how we are using JavaScript controller. And in helper also we can do the same thing. So basically we need helper for two things. Okay, one is for writing the reusable part of the code, and second is to call the apex classes. Okay, so I'll tell you how do we use the helper. So you have use the component, and the second part is event, and there is a third part called helper. Okay, so let me just call in helper. I'll write say helper method, and to it I'll be just passing component. Okay, event and helper. Okay, now let me go to the helper and paste the same code but I copied from there, and here I'll be using the helper method, or you can mention any name. Okay, so for example I can just say uh, James Bond. It's not a name, but I mean surely it's a name, but it's not a JavaScript name. um, so let me write in helper. I will be calling James Bond. So James Bond will accept three parameters. One is component, event, and helper. And so here also it should accept component, event, and helper. Okay, so I'll say I'll just update and say helper says very good morning. So if that was good, when I refresh and when I click on this button, it should say helper says very good morning. So that's it. That's how we use a JavaScript function. So that's it. Stay tuned for the very next tutorial. JavaScript, nice and easy.